He was one of the first ones to make
But
this
are you
claim.
saying he's the only person? Because if other people are
No,
making
guys
this
like
claim,
you who follow him make the same claim as well.
we follow him.
Hashim,
This is false
568.
equivocation.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you think Jay Smith is a credible person to believe?
Why not?
Are you more credible than
That's
him?
my case.
I asked you a question.
In this case, yes, I am.
I've asked you why not.
Okay, why not? Because he's been caught lying many times.
Okay.
Okay, so anyone who's been caught lying several times cannot be credible when it comes specifically when it talks about religion.
Okay, so if we ever catch you lying about something,
Then you can hold me accountable.
Okay.
Of course you
Allah is
can.
the
And
greatest deceiver.
I would prefer people to expose or to point out my mistakes because that is how I
I
learn.
think Allah is
But the thing is, you know, when I caught you both lying about Muhammad, that it predates Muhammad, you don't even have the humility to say we were wrong.
The carbon dating, the range predates him.
No.
The range,
Now you're saying, after I pointed it out to
No,
you.
because that's obviously
80%
what
of the range.
No.
No, because that's
You see,
obviously
this guy's still saying the same thing which you said earlier.
yeah, the range predates.
At least you have somehow made a U-turn about your
not about
statement
U-turn.
you have, because you did not say
Because
the
you were
range.
trying to mislead the audience. I bet you, if anyone's watching, you never mentioned that the beginning of the range predates Islam. I'm sure anyone watching...
I said the range is from 5... I myself said this.
Okay.
The range was from 570 to 648.
Okay.
I've said this several times. So
okay,
don't say I'm trying to mislead
so
people.
if the start date
Okay,
is
what-
610, what was the
You
first,
had your turn.
What
One
was the,
second.
what was the first
What date?
revelation?
What date?
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him.
What was the first revelation?
First revelation came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is from when he says Iqra.
Okay.
Iqra bismi
That was
rabbikal ladhi
610.
khalaq.
So now, if we go with the median date of 610, does that Quranic verses on the Birmingham manuscript say Iqra?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Okay. The reason I gave you the median date is because to show you on average that is what's done.
Yeah.
But it is not something that you do that every time you get a carbon dating, you always look at the middle date all the time. No.
Okay, so now you're backtracking.
No, I'm not.
So what was the verses on the manuscript?
I said on average.
Okay.
Did you not hear that?
Okay, because you do realise...
So wait,
What chapter is that? What chapter is in
on the
manuscript?
Birmingham manuscript, the verses that are on it don't mention Muhammad. They're about... One's about Abraham. I can't remember the other two, but they're Jewish stories. So therefore...
Jewish stories?
Yeah,
Already existed.
one's about Abraham.
Where does it say Jewish stories?
One's about Abraham. Let's see. I can bring up the verses.
The stories already existed before Muhammad.
Because my claim is this: if it was
In the
from
Quran, we have
610,
stories from
it should have the
Abraham.
verse Iqra on it, because he said that's if we go with his 610. But the verses on the Birmingham manuscript are any
They're
verses
all
that mention
already
Muhammad.
existed.
So this would be very strange for
No,
something that
you know something. You know the
coincides
mistake
with
you made there
first
again,
revelation.
and I've already corrected you on this. I said not every time people look at just the middle date.
Okay, so what date are you looking at?
I don't know. They look at you know the whole idea of giving you a range
Okay.
is to first look at the range,
Yes.
and then work out based on the manuscript you have in
Yeah.
hand, on its carbon dating, on the script that you have in it, and plus you can tell from the sanad. Yes, you know we have something called the sanad, which is a chain of revelation,
Okay.
and every single ayah has a chain of revelation. So we can actually place it exactly. Look, the important thing is this: within the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Okay.
this date can easily be placed based on the carbon dating.
Okay.
No carbon dating can give you the exact date.
Okay.
So you look at many factors,
Yes.
and you do not just look at, because it is a middle date,
Yes.
you have to always do that. So
so
your
it could be
assumption, wait.
648 then.
No.
after that.
What you're doing again is, you cannot just go to the beginning or
Yeah.
to the end.
But we said you said now
wait,
it might not be
you
the
look
middle.
at you look at all the other factors.
Okay.
Yes, and then you come to a conclusion.
Okay.
Now, by the way, J. Smith,
Yes.
who made this error of only looking at the beginning of the range
Okay.
and then making a conclusion like this guy here that it is predating Muhammad, i.e., he explicitly said that this manuscript predates Muhammad. Now, a guy who after interview was asked about the Quran, he said, this is later, 200 years after Muhammad, the Quran 200 years after Muhammad. All of a sudden, when they found the Birmingham manuscript, he immediately said, this predates Muhammad. So the guy who has always been saying,
What, the start-
wait,
that does
the guy
predate
who has always been saying that the Quran was actually dated much later after Muhammad.
Okay.
All of a sudden,
So
it's saying it's
in the
predates
Birmingham
Muhammad.
manuscript,
That
the
just
stories
shows that how
are-
inconsistent.
The stories are, I was in error. It's the stories of Mary, Dhul Qarnayn, and the 7 sleepers.
Yes.
There's
So
no
the-
mention of
Surah Kahf.
yeah. So there's no mention of Muhammad in the earliest Quranic manuscripts that you have, which is very strange.
Why?
Because you would
Why
think-
should there be a
because
man-
you said this was the exact date 610 of the Prophet's revelation. When you said what do they normally do, I said yeah, they go to the middle range. So therefore, if this was the manuscript that corresponds to 610, then
I never
should
said
be-
it corresponds to 610.
That's what you said. You said
You
to
see,
me,
this is
what's
the third
middle,
time
you
after-
said to me what date is the middle date, and I said
Paperboy,
about,
this is the
you said
third time I have to
35
correct
years.
you. I can't believe this.
You
Either
said that was a
either you should remove the cap
No,
so you
said-
can hear
I think
properly.
you should remove
or
yours.
okay,
You know.
did I make this statement?
You said that's the exact year
listen.
of the
Yes,
Prophet's first
yes.
revelation. So what were you insinuating?
What I'm
by that?
insinuating by that is that it falls in the time of Muhammad.
Okay.
Okay? In the time of when the revelation came.
Okay.
I never said that particular manuscript is from the year 610.
Okay.
Do you agree?
But then if you
Do you agree I said this?
But if you say the range is 570, then people can conclude that anyway.
The range is always going to be the range. You
Okay.
cannot say it is either at the beginning or at the end or even exactly in the middle. The range is the range. You look at it from within this range.
Okay.
The important thing is this.
So
Wait.
if it was-
You know how this conversation started?
Okay.
It wasn't to do with the Birmingham manuscripts.
Okay.
Yes? This guy here wanted to challenge me on the Quran
Yeah.
and the Bible about its preservation.
Okay.
I told him
The Quran's been preserved.
the Bible has 0 manuscripts from the first century.
Okay.
0, null, zilch. Okay? The earliest manuscripts of the Codex, the earliest Codex you find, the Codex Vaticanus
Yeah.
and Sinaiticus,
Yeah.
these are from the 4th century.
Okay.
So you have a gap of 300 years or more between the time
But we
Jesus-
also have fragments.
wait. Between the time Jesus preached until you have the full manuscripts.
And what is the age
Wait
of the
a minute,
okay.
wait a minute, one
Yeah.
thing at a time. I know
Alright.
you like to jump to the Quran all the time when we
Well,
are
we're-
examining.
you
I
said
gave you
yes.
enough information about the Birmingham manuscript. I think
Yeah.
it's time to move and look at the Bible now. What is the earliest extant manuscript
about
of the
300.
New Testament you have?
300 AD.
Okay. How
what-
will you wait?
Yes.
How
You're
will you
asking
fill
me-
the gap? Wait. How will you fill the gap from the time of Jesus
Yeah.
to after 300 years?
Because we have fragments and we have the early church fathers writing. So
Okay.
scholars say we can recreate the Bible even from the writings of the church fathers. Now let me ask you a question.
No.
What is,
No.
What is,
Let me-
wait, no.
wait, I
you
gave
say
you enough
that
time.
I answered your question. Let me
Paperboy,
ask you a
I
question.
gave you enough time.
I've-
I gave you
I
enough
answered
time
you.
about
Now
that.
let me ask you a
I
question.
gave you
What
enough
is the-
time. Wait
what
a
is the
minute.
date of the
No, let's
oldest
be
full
fair.
manuscript of the Quran?
The question I asked you
Yes.
about, the question you asked me about the Birmingham manuscript, I spent at least 20 minutes with you. You gave me like one question, one answer, and you want to jump back to the Quran.
What
Let's
is
spend
no,
20
I'm asking
minutes
you
to
now.
your
No,
question now.
I'm asking you
No,
now.
I'm asking
What-
you.
what
It's
is
not
the-
like this
what is
for
the-
20 years.
What is the
You know, if
earliest
you
full
want him to
manuscript
be like
of the
the unfair,
Quran?
then I think
He doesn't
I
wanna
think you should
go.
go to something
No,
else.
but you're talking to him. I was listening.
No, I was talking to you for 20
You've asked
minutes.
me a question. Let me
20
ask you the
minutes.
same one. Whilst we're on
Did
the
I
topic.
not talk to you for 20 minutes?
You're talking to him.
Did I not talk to you for 20 minutes?
Talk to-
It's on the camera.
I'm asking you a question.
It's on the camera.
So, in 20 minutes, did I ask a question? No.
Okay, in
So
20
I'm
minutes
asking
you had many questions.
He's
Wait,
asked
just
a
came
question.
and jumped.
Exactly.
Paperboy.
He said he
In
wanted to
20
talk to
minutes,
me.
you did
So
not
I'm
ask any
asking you
question?
a question.
In 20
You've
minutes,
asked me,
no.
but I've answered
In
you
20
that
minutes,
it's only fair
wait a
that I
minute.
ask you a
In
question
20
back.
minutes,
So
did you not ask me any question?
Everyone wants
Okay.
to know what is the...
If you don't want to answer my question,
I've
that's fine.
answered your question.
So
you
at
see,
the end of the day,
I just answered his question. I said three.
you know what? I gave him enough time to speak. No,
In my
He
Quran,
said, yes. I said,
Hashim,
and
you have been
I
given
said,
your
we have the
homework.
church
He had any
fathers.
questions in 20 minutes.
No.
out of 6 Quran.
He's lying.
I asked you,
Out
you
of
asked me
6
what
Quran.
was, you
Out of
asked me
6
what was
Quran.
between that.
It's my
I said,
turn now.
No, wait.
He's afraid. He's afraid to answer.
He said,
He's scared. Of course he's scared.
he asked me
No.
this
I'm
question.
asking
His question. Yeah, I'm answering.
my question
He
now.
asked me this question.
So
He
what
said,
is-
what
how
do we
will you-
have? He said, what do we have between
Hashim.
Jesus and
Hashim.
the first full copy of the Bible, the Vernacular? I said we have fragments and we also have the church fathers writing. And I said, from the writings of the church fathers, we can recreate the Bible. That is the whole thing.
Shall I tell you?
He said, what do we have between?
You know
we have the
something-
fragments and the writings of the church fathers. What else do you want me to answer? That's what we
Shall I
have.
tell you why that is not valid? Why? Shall I tell you why that is not valid? When you say fragments, Bart Ehrman, yes, he said there are thousands of fragments, but none of them agree with each other. Okay? And he says they are removed centuries after Jesus. They were written centuries after Jesus. Now you tell me, what is your basis, what is the evidence that these manuscripts, these fragments which you find, they actually correlate exactly with the Bible, the New Testament?
Okay.
Where's the evidence for that?
Because what about says?
This one. With regards to the manuscript, make sure you state with regards to the manuscript.
Okay. It says,
No, 181 don't answer that.
This is what he says in his book. He says, the position I argue for in misquoting Jesus does not actually stand at odds with Professor Metzger's position that the essential Christian beliefs are not affected by any textual variance in the manuscript edition with
Not about the
New
beliefs.
Testament. And what he
The
says,
question is not about the beliefs, the question is about the manuscripts.
yes, let me just
Go on. I knew you would bring that up, that's why I said the manuscripts. That's how you get exposed, right?
Okay, so there it is.
Can you bring two Quran?
Okay, wait. Yeah, so he says, I'm just skipping to something. He says, if he and I, he's talking about Bruce Metzger, were put in a room and asked to hammer out a consensus statement on what we think the original New Testament probably looked like, there would be very few points of disagreement. Maybe 1 or 2 dozen places out of many thousands. So what he's arguing.
Who said that? What does it say? You're talking about, are you talking about the manuscripts or are you talking about the belief?
Bruce Metzger is one of the great scholars of modern times, and I dedicate the book to him because he was both my inspiration for going into textual criticism and the person who trained me in the field. And even though we may disagree on important religious questions, he is a firmly committed Christian and I'm not. We are in complete agreement on a number of very important historical and textual questions. If he and I were put in a room and asked to hammer out a consensus statement on what we think the original text of the New Testament probably looked like,
So let's talk about the manuscript.
very few points of disagreement, maybe 1 or 2 dozen places out of many thousands. So this includes
the manuscript and the fragments.
Who said
So
that?
even
Who said that?
from Bar Ehrman.
Bar Ehrman.
So what he's saying, he made the claim that Bar Ehrman is saying that there's so many fragments they don't disagree. But he's saying
They disagree.
Yes, they disagree. So what Oman is saying, from all the fragmentary everything that they've got, he could confidently recreate the Bible. With
He never
his
said
two-
that. Recreate. You made that up. Stop misquoting Baba.
Listen to what he said.
Did he say recreate?
Listen.
He and I were put in a room and asked to hammer out a consensus statement on what we think the original text of the New Testament probably looked like. There would be very few points of disagreement, maybe 1 or 2 dozen places out of many thousands.
Disagreement about what?
About that's where you get the variance.
No. He doesn't. Okay, this is what
because-
Bar Ehrman said. Look, this is in his book. You didn't even quote the source where it was.
This is in his book, Misquoting Jesus.
Okay, this is a book that you have to actually read. The New Testament, an historical introduction to the early Christian writings. Bar Ehrman says, and he writes, it is true, of course, that the New Testament is abundantly attested in the manuscripts produced through the ages. This is the important bit that you need to understand. But most of these manuscripts are many centuries removed from the originals, and none of them perfectly accurate.
What does that
Wait. It's clear English. You can read into it. That's clear English. I don't know which part you don't understand. Wait, and then he goes on to say,
What he's saying.
why are you interrupting? I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, go on.
I didn't interrupt you. Why you guys are, you see, you guys are all triggered now.
He's making a nail in his own
No. This is a quote about him.
Finish.
Okay, so let me read it again. Maybe this time you might understand. Textual scholar Bart Ehrman writes, it is true, of course, that the New Testament is abundantly attested in manuscript produced through the ages. But most of these manuscripts are many centuries removed from the originals, and none of them perfectly accurate. They all contain mistakes altogether, many thousands of mistakes. It is not an easy task to reconstruct the original.
Reconstruct the original, okay. Go on.
Go on.
Why stopping me?
I'm stopping.
Are you agreeing with me?
I'm
Okay, because earlier he said we could easily reconstruct it. Did he not say that?
That's not
So now he's saying the
He's
opposite
making
of
a
what he
straw man
said.
point.
No, wait.
Let him finish. He's making a straw man point.
No, I'm not making a straw man point.
Go
In
on,
fact, I'm
finish.
agreeing with
Yes, go on, make
Bart
your point,
Ehrman
make your-
and disagreeing with you.
Make
The guy who
your
said
point.
earlier,
Okay,
very
make your
easy
point,
to
finish your
reconstruct.
point. Yes.
I was trying to, but you interrupted me.
I was just.
This is the second time you
Go
interrupted me.
on. You keep interrupting. You never do
So now, let me read it again. Textual scholar. Guys, calm down. Who wrote the Quran?
Right.
Exactly. Who wrote the Quran?
Who wrote the Quran?
Go on.
Try to stop.
Finish your statement.
Yeah.
Time to stop. Who wrote the Quran? Guys, just ignore it.
Repeat. Because what?
Shall I repeat it again? Okay. Can I?
He's going to ask my questions after.
You know what? This is all. The guy is all triggered. You know why? God has to use someone to get away, man. Get away from me. Okay. I'll read it once again.
All right.
Maybe he enjoys this passage. Textual scholar Bart Ehrman writes, it is true, of course, that the New Testament is abundantly attested in the manuscripts produced through the ages. But most of these manuscripts are many centuries removed from the originals, and none of them perfectly accurate. They all contain mistakes, altogether many thousands of mistakes. It is not an easy task to reconstruct the original words of the New Testament. This is written in the book, or this is a quote from the book, the New Testament, an historical introduction to the early Christian writings. Wait, I haven't finished. I'll give you what Bruce Metzger also says. None of the original documents of the New Testament is extant. None. Yes? Remember, we have the Birmingham manuscripts, and we have the Sana manuscripts, and we have the Topkapi manuscript. According to them, by the way, you don't have nothing from the first century. So you have none. According to him, by the way, this is Bruce Metzger, who's actually a Christian, who died a Christian. Unlike Bart Ehrman, who was a Christian, and he left Christianity. So now, Bruce Metzger says this, none of the original that you have from first century
is from the first century. You like it?
Are you listening?
What mean
Is it a copy of
Are you listening? What did you say?
Who says?
Bruce Metzger.
Who say scholars?
We don't have
scholars
something from
who say
the first
that.
century.
For first century.
Yes,
you are.
scholar, yes. It's from
None of the
first
original
century.
documents
I want you to
of the
show
New
me
Testament
where
is
it says.
My phone is
extant,
recording.
and the existing copies
Can I give you my phone?
differ from one another.
I don't know if
That's when they talk about difference, it's called textual variance. So that, because what he's trying
Nothing is extant.
what he's trying to do is
I think we have.
You think he wants to run away? He wants to run away. He wants to run away because he knows.
Run away from what?
Okay, let me finish. Now let me respond to his.
You're the one who you didn't want me to talk.
Okay. Now, when we talk about textual variance, if you have two sentences,
Oh, we got a Muslim.
let's say you have.
Soko Loco, I just want to make sure your echo chamber is
now
not
you're
going on.
interrupting me. So when we
The
talk
local
about,
echo chamber.
because when I talk about the Quran, we're gonna understand what he said. So now,
Can you
when we
go
talk
over-
about textual variance,
Hush.
When we
First of all, don't touch my people like that.
Hey,
You're the one touching my foot.
If the Christian is not allowing you to kick it, then you can't do it. Because it cannot be one-sided.
Do you want to continue with
blocking
that?
him to do
Yeah.
it,
You
and
know
then
what?
it's not allowing him
First and foremost, I don't want people threatening me. So if you want to have this conversation, I need to be away from this guy. Because he's the one. Because you're the one.
No, and you put your flash in front of my camera. You did that first.
Paperboy. I think I don't want to be with this threatening guy, so I'll talk to you.
right? See if you're now.
He just running away. I don't care.
Let's just continue.
Let's finish this conversation, because at the end of the day, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, we made a statement with regards to the Quran
Can you stop
and the
it?
Bible.
Can you stop it? You are the chicken one. You are the chicken one. You are the chicken one.
What did I do?
Stop it. Stop it.
Leave him.
Yeah.
You don't want to fall with this segment.
You are dishonest. You are the dishonest.
I'm answering. Shame on you.
Okay, leave him. We'll record later, don't we? I think we are done with them. When they run out of reason,